Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss reference management or bibliography in LaTeX. In order to have our references here, first what we need to do is to include one package that is called natbib. We are going to use this package for APA style, but generally including it is very useful. And then, so this is the first thing. The second thing, we need these two lines. So we need to have a bibliography style, and then we talk about style here. So this one is the numbering style. And then we are going to include the reference file. So the reference file, I made it here. You can also do it here. You click on new file, and then you type down references, for example, .bib. Okay, and then when you click on create, it's going to make one for you. And so this is the third thing. And the fourth thing here is to insert your citation. So in order to do that, you need to go to Google Scholar, for example, and search for a paper. For example, Flex Route Transit. So there are different papers in this domain. For example, the first paper is the benefits of introducing meeting points into flex route transit services. So it's a paper that I'm interested in. I would like to cite it in my own paper. I click on cite. Then you see the citation in different styles, like in MLA, APA, Chicago, etc. Then you have the EndNote, RefMan, RefWorks, and BibTeX. For LaTeX, we need the BibTeX version. So I click on this. When I'm here, I'm going to copy all the data here and go back to my references.bib, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay. And then in order to cite this paper, I'm going to copy this part, only this part, and go to the main text. But let's discuss what we have here. So this is the name of the citation that we are going to use to call this citation in the paper. Then this is the title of the paper. This is the list of authors, the journal, the volume, pages, year, and the publisher. Okay, now I would like to cite this paper. So I copy this part, I go to main text. When I come back here, I would say in another study by, then I have this site, and you see the papers that are already in the references.bib are these two. So I'm going to click on this, or simply you can paste it here. So you can also paste that part here. The authors are considering, for example, a mathematical formulation to address the problem. Okay, so when I recompile, I have this paper here. So in another study by, and we're citing this paper to here. Okay, so there are steps that we need to do for managing our bibliography. First, to include the package. This is the package. Second, to include these two lines before the end document. One of them is the style. In this case, the style is by numbers. And the other one is the name of the reference.bib, for example, here. So it's going to include the references. The third thing is to create this references.bib here using clicking here. And the fourth thing is to go to Google Scholar and search for the paper that we are looking for. Click on Cite, click on BibTeX, and copy this information and paste it here. And then use this part in the text to cite this paper. And in order to cite them, we simply have the \cite keyword to cite the papers. But the most common style for citing papers is APA. So I'm going to change this one to APA-like. And when we are going to use APA style, when I recompile, we need to change things a bit. So there are two different types of citing in text using APA style. So one of them is when you're using a reference in the middle of the sentence, and one of them is if you're using the reference at the end of the sentence. So if you're using the citation in the middle of the sentence, like this one, you can simply have the cite keyword or cite t keyword. And if you're using it at the end of the sentence, you can, for example, let me come up with an example. Another study is conducting a comprehensive sensitivity analysis. And I'm going to use cite P when I'm citing a paper at the end of the sentence. So when I recompile, so let me just eliminate this one. So when I recompile, here I'm saying that in another study by, so this is a citation in the middle of the sentence. So we are using cite T keyword. The authors are considering a mathematical formulation to address the problem. Another study is conducting a comprehensive sensitivity analysis, and because I'm going to cite the paper at the end of the sentence, I'm going to use the cite P keyword to change the citation, and the citation is fully coming up in a parenthesis. But this part, it is not fully coming up in the parenthesis. It's only the year that is coming in the parenthesis. So this is something that we need to keep in mind while using the APA style. So basically, this is how we can have citations in LaTeX, and it is going to basically do whatever you want uh, automatically. So if you're including, for example, this paper, Shaheen 2024 survey here, I have already included it in the reference file here, but I'm not going to use it in the text. So now I'm commenting it. So if you don't cite it in the text, it is not going to show it here. Now I'm not citing it in the text, although I included in the reference part, but because I didn't include it in the text, it's not going to show it here. So everything is automatic. This is why working with LaTeX is very pleasurable and very nice. So everything is automatic, don't worry. And simply just use a cite T and cite P keywords when you're using the APA style. Otherwise, when you're using the other style that is with numbers, you can simply use the cite keyword and have the bibliography style like this. So it is switching to numbering. So in another study by the first citation, the authors are considering a mathematical formulation to address the problem. This is basically how we're going to check our citations and correct our citations and insert citations in LaTeX. And also, there are some parts that are sometimes missing. For example, when you copy paste information from Google Scholar, it's not going to have the year included. For example, here and here, let me remove it. So when you don't have the year here, because I'm only using this citation now in the text and not this part, because this part I removed it. I commented it. I received one message here. So let me just recompile here. When we have the year, I don't have any message here, warnings. So when I remove it, I'm going to have one warning. It is saying that basically empty year in this citation. So this citation is exactly this citation, and it is not having the year. So it is sending you one alarm that this citation is not complete. So go ahead and include this information. So it is also very important that when you're working with LaTeX, you take care of this part. So this part is going to send you some warnings and errors in case that you're not using everything correctly. It is nice to check out the warnings and also the errors to make sure that you're not making any mistakes and everything is clear to LaTeX for completely compiling your file. Thank you.